Hi everyone, so I hope this video finds you well. I'm sorry if the audio is not so great. I'm in my basement. I don't have a microphone. So let's just get started, shall we? So I'm just going to show you a super quick, easy way to mordant with soy milk. So the process is very short. Well, it's a very involved process, but the setup is very short. So all I have here is a bowl with 5 cups of water, and I have a measuring cup here with 1 cup of soy milk. All natural, unsweetened, just plain soy milk. So this is a store-bought one from a carton. You can also make your own, but I choose to use store-bought since it's much faster and there's no waste at the end, apart from the carton, of course. So when you're mordanting with soy milk, you usually want to use a 5-to-1 ratio of water to soy milk. So that's the ratio I've showed you. So I'm just going to pour the soy milk into the bowl of water. Just let that mix up by itself for a second there while I weigh my fibers. So you always want to weigh your dry weight of goods before doing anything to it, and just note that down. With soy milk, since you're mordanting the ratio of soy milk to water, it's not as important. But when you're mordanting with alum or tannins, you always want to take note of the dry weight of goods. So I'm just going to turn on my scale just to have this in my process notes and in my journal for dyeing. So you see it's at 0 now, so I'm just going to put this bowl on, and I'm going to tare it to bring it back to 0. And this is just so the fibers aren't flopping around everywhere. So I'm just going to put this is cotton, so I'm only mordanting cellulose fibers, so plant-based fibers in the soy milk. So I'm using cotton here, and it is 42.8 grams. So I'm just going to note that down and turn off my scale. So now that my fibers are weighed, 42.8, and my soy milk is more or less mixed with my water, I'm going to immerse all of my fibers in the soy milk mordant. So I'm going to do it one at a time and make sure it's nice and soaked there. Don't worry about touching it or anything. It's totally fine as long as you have clean hands. Don't want to be getting any dirt on them or anything, but washed my hands right before this, so we're all good. So I just have 9 pieces of fabric here, and I'm going to be using them in 3 different dye baths. So like I said, this is only going to be cellulose fibers, but I've also prepared an alum mordant that I am mordanting wool and silk in along with the cotton all at once. And then I also have a test batch that is unmordanted fibers just to base things off of. Mordanted fibers, there have been a lot of experiments done, and it always seems like if they've been mordanted, the color lasts a lot longer, and it's often a lot stronger, especially with cellulose fibers. And soy milk mordant is fantastic for this because you're adding the soy protein to the cellulose fibers, and the protein is what the color will bond to, and protein fibers always dye a lot better. So now I'm just going to let this sit overnight, so for about 10 to 12 hours, and after that I'm going to wring the fibers out. I'm going to spin them in the washing machine to get a nice even coat of soy milk, and then I'm going to quickly dip the fibers in just for a minute or 2. And then I'm going to spin them again in the washing machine, let them dry, and repeat this quick dip process 4 or 5 times, letting it dry in between. And then I am going to let the soy milk cure on the fibers for up to a week. I'm going to do it a bit shorter since I'm short on time. And the curing process really allows the proteins to bond to the fibers and will allow for even longer lasting dye. So that's just a quick example of how to mordant with soy milk.